You'll probably be able to tell I'm currently just getting over a cold, and it makes a lot of sense. The seasons are changing, and we're bringing in a season where it's a lot darker where I live in Virginia, and it is a lot colder. But this is definitely a time for me where I need to bring in the cozy vibes, and I need to make sure that I'm lightening up this environment. Even though we can easily feel more tired and exhausted during this time, it's a time that we really need to focus on our own mental health and the mental health of our family, so that we are not just all separating and going our own ways and spending time alone every night, but that we have an environment where we all feel welcomed and cheered up, and it's a place that feels warm and cozy. So today, as we walk through several things that I do throughout this season, I hope you're inspired to bring a few of these into your own home. One of the most helpful things that I have found during this season is the importance of light. This idea came from when we went to Denmark a year ago, and my husband and I learned so much about the importance of light in Denmark. And as a place that often is much darker than where I live and much colder in the winter than where I live, I loved their acceptance of the darkness and the fact that many of the people there put a lot of value on the correct kind of lighting. So one of the pieces that I have brought into this season is the little light. I actually got it for my birthday. And I love this light because when I want to have a cozy evening, maybe reading a book, or if we want to play games together at the table, I can put it on the table, and it's just a warm, dim presence that makes the whole environment just feel more peaceful to be in. It's amazing what a little bit of lighting can do for your overall general feeling in a space. If you're surrounded by a lot of harsh lighting in your house, and you only have overhead lighting, what you might want to look into is maybe if there's some different kinds of lamps that you can look at, or even just changing out the light bulbs can make a big difference in your space. And of course, as you can see right here, because I'm not feeling 100%, I have brought out the cozy warm blankets. We don't always have them out all year round, especially when it gets really hot in the summer, but as the seasons are changing and it's very cold, and even in our house it stays kind of cold, we like to have those cozy blankets just to invite us to either spend time together here on the couch, and it makes the space automatically just feel a lot more cozy. Now, while I'm not someone who buys the seasonal blankets, I will say that buying a few heavier set blankets that you can throw on your bed and on your couch make a big difference in our home this winter time. Because the outside is usually so dark and gray, and we don't have a whole lot of super sunny days in the winter, bringing in a few rich colors, whether it's in your pillows or in your blankets, can definitely make a big difference in your home. Another one of my favorite traditions has been passed down for me for years and years, and that is cooking my grandma's biscuits. These biscuits are hands down my absolute favorite thing that I know how to bake. And while they are extremely simple to make, this actually made me completely opposed to eating anyone else's biscuits. And so I've become a little bit of a biscuit snob. Really, for me during this season, a huge sign of love is giving bread. While it's one of my favorite foods, it's also one of my daughter's favorites. And that's what leads me to today's sponsor, which is Craftsy. And I can already tell that it is a huge online resource for people just like me who love to be creative. I've already spent some evenings learning how to make my own cider. Winter is easily the time where I can get in my own funk and just not want to do anything besides watch TV. And that's really where Craftsy has surpassed my expectations, because with all of these resources, whether you want to challenge yourself to cook, sew, just learn a new craft or a new recipe, Craftsy has everything. I have challenged myself for the next couple of months over this dark winter season to learn something new every day. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click on the link in the video description will get a full year of premium membership to Craftsy for only $1.49. That's an unbelievable discount when it normally costs $123. This is your call to break out of the winter sleepies. The next big thing that I like to do during this season is obviously bringing down some of our favorite holiday decor. What I found is that time and time again, after declutter and declutter of our holiday bins, The things that still stay are the ones that we have been passed down for years and years from either my grandma or my mom's husband or my mom. And these are the things that not only I get the most enjoyment from, but also I allow my daughter to play with a lot of them. And I know for a long time, I always felt like I shouldn't allow her to play with these things and they should be up higher so we can just enjoy looking at them. But I think my mentality over the past couple years has really changed because that wasn't how my mom ever treated things. We were always allowed to interact and play with all of our Christmas decorations. And those were some really fond memories for me. If you have a few things that are extremely sentimental and you want to put them up higher, then I totally understand. But what I have found is that it brings me a lot of joy to watch my daughter also be able to enjoy the things that we find very special. If you are getting any value from this video, then please come join this community here on Minimal Ease. And also, of course, if you are decluttering, organizing with us here on Minimal Ease, then throw a heart emoji down below. So this season in particular would not be complete without this next one, and that is to bring in some of the outside in. Some of my favorite things that I like to decorate with in this season is pine cones and acorns, and of course from my garden, the lavender and rosemary. I find the best decorations are often free. So if you go on a long walk, maybe to a local park, then just pay attention to what you're seeing during this season. So recently I have gathered up a handful of the lavender and rosemary that's right outside my door. And I have this tiny little vase that we actually got when we were in Copenhagen. And I love to just bring in some of those wonderful smells. Bringing in some nature, I think, is always a great way to warm up any environment without having to commit to buying something that you're gonna have to keep for a long term. Something that is extremely easy to do, and probably something you already have around your house, is to warm up some water on your stove and just put some cinnamon in it. And it envelops the entire home, and just the smell of cinnamon wafting through your house is unbelievable. And often what I have found is that the actual smell of cinnamon will stick around your house for several hours, even after you turn the water off. Something that I find very difficult this time of year, because when we get home, we don't want to go out and do our long walks, and often we don't go out and talk to our neighbors as much as we used to during the summer seasons, is to just make sure that I am building in time for our friends and family, and that I am making that a priority to have those interactions and those parties, so that I am not turning into the turtle that I really want to be during the season and hiding away and staying in my home every day. But I am making sure that every week I am at least going out once or twice to either meet some family or friends and have dinner with people. Because the thing that always seems to ring true for me is that once I get there, I'm so excited and so happy to be there. But the actual effort of having to go out when it is still dark at night can be very daunting. I think I'm probably not just talking for myself, that for most of us, we would like to get home after work and throw on our PJs, it's already dark, and just lay on the couch or read a book and not do anything else. But for my own mental health, I found it very helpful to make sure that I'm building in these special times, even though it is more of an effort. Something that I have found that my family in particular ends up doing almost every evening now that it is colder outside is to incorporate warm beverages. Whether it is my husband's very favorite specialty drink that he makes, which is a combination of apple cider and vanilla vodka, which if you heat that up is absolutely delicious, but also smells really nice. That has become one of our absolute favorites and such an easy drink to make. But more times than not, we end up just making some of our favorite hot chocolate that was taught to me from my mom. Very easy, but we just use some cocoa powder and milk, which I always like lactose, helps my stomach at night, but some milk, and we just heat it up over the stove, and it's divine. It makes the whole evening feel very luxurious, especially if you have a few marshmallows and you drop those in. But it's such a simple thing and such an easy win at night. It has become our favorite way to just wrap up the evening before bed. And I do feel like it kind of calms us all down and makes us all feel very at peace and warm and cozy. While there are tons of different holiday celebrations and things that people do during this season that I absolutely adore and love, it is also our favorite season to travel because we love to see how other people celebrate this time of year. And so we are going on a big trip very soon to Europe. We're going to start in Germany and go through France. I do feel like traveling is a big pick-me-up when it comes to this time of year. It is just a way to, one, learn new things, but also when you are giving yourself those new experiences, you automatically feel more inclined to get out of your comfort zone because you're somewhere brand new. And it's so funny because it's something that we have done with my daughter the past couple of years, also is taking her with us. And it has already become something where she asks us, when are we going to Europe over Christmas? Because she also just really enjoys being out of her comfort zone, learning about different cultures and meeting so many different wonderful people this time of year. Another thing that my family really loves is a good fire. My husband made us a beautiful and very budget-friendly fire pit for my birthday several years ago, and we often use it this time of year, especially on the weekends when we can start the fires a little bit earlier. But that is a great way to kind of pep you up in the evening. If you have one in your house, that's even better. We do, but unfortunately ours still needs to be fixed, so we haven't actually ever used that fireplace. But the funny thing is that you don't really need one, because now all we do is we turn on our TV when we are playing games or we are reading, and just the sound of the crackling fire, even though it's not putting off any heat, but the sound of fire burning and the logs crackling is such a peaceful and warm experience to have in your home during the winter months. I hope this has helped you to see that this season, though it is dark and can be very depressing for some of us, it is a season that, with putting in a little bit of effort and a little bit of consciousness into what you are doing and bringing in, can be one of the most beautiful seasons of the year.